Okay, so just want to give the disclaimer that obviously you submitted this replay in the previous patch with the Fleeting Fury facet that no longer exists. But what we talked about a lot, and you mentioned it in your submission, is just the whole idea of patience around fights, and you had a few questions about decision making in lane, about letting the Fury on die and stuff. We are just going to be focusing a lot on your patience. That's just what we're going to be looking at. And even if Marcy specifically is not going to be played this way anymore, I think the lessons that we can take away, generally speaking, can still be very helpful. So yeah, no talk about how Marcy specifically plays, but more about how the decisions work in the grand scheme of the game. Yeah, so if you're talking about that death, you like went over to help, and then it just is what it is. You got some denies, which is nice. Yeah, this looks good. I think you're supposed to, like, honestly, I'm not even that upset about that. Like, I'm not happy per se, but I'm not like upset about it. I do think if I'm level 2, I would have 100% leveled Toss. And then in these moments, when he walks up for range creeps, I just toss him in. With Nature's Prophet, specifically, I think it's much more powerful for you to force the guy into you guys than it is to go on them. And that also applies to having heroes like Ringmaster. They don't want to walk up and help their teammate. They want their teammate to retreat into them and get helped, right? So I think this is a misskill, conceptually. And I think that your use of that early, like, getting free wave to yourself of XP in level 2, that would have been better use. But that is a bit Marcy specific, but it's, like, generally good to note, like, how heroes want you to play. Like, Terrorblade wants you to go on him, right? Then he just pops a Metamorph. This is a good pull to avoid fighting him during meta. Meta's over. Yeah. Maybe there's something I said to you during the replay analysis that said the toss is bad, but in this lane, I would have played a lot for defensive aggro and just, like, fight them if they come up to me. I would never really go on them. Because Terrorblade's just, like, not a hero you really want to go on. You're either hitting him freely. If you're both hitting each other, Terrorblade pretty much always wins, right? Because it's high armor, high attack speed. So you only really want Terrorblade when he is stuck running away. And the way to force him to run away in this specific lane is to toss him into you guys, not to go on him. You know, if you had something like a Pudge, maybe you'd want to go on him. But yeah, I think you could have pulled that guy too. It seems like you're a bit scared. Lacking a bit of confidence of when to go. I think one of your biggest things, you kind of mentioned it in your submission, is like the deer in the headlights feeling. I think one of your, if I'm being frank, one of your biggest things that you're gonna, like, easier said than done, and I'm not trying to diminish it, because it's what I had to do too, and it's really hard for me as well, is you're gonna have to learn to let yourself fuck up. Because the way I've been seeing you play this lane and how you talk about your replay, and when I talk to you, it's okay to fuck up. And part of what we're doing here in the dojo is, like, kind of going against the Dota norms, which is everybody kind of flaming each other every time they fuck up. This is all good, though. That was great. Really good awareness to cancel that TP. Yeah, now we're owning. The Helm Dom delivered. Gonna go grab a creep on the way back, I assume. It looks funny with the old patch. Okay, you're gonna get your level 6 back here. Fantastic. Okay, I actually don't mind the clarity fly out and just stay in lane. Interesting. So this is a really peculiar decision. So, like, in this case, you saw the Metamorph TV. And I know you have ulti and everything, but if you're going to run back and fight them, then I would go base. If you're going... So what I see here is I want to stay on the map and farm. Wait, you left your creep or what? Oh, you like left your creep. Where's the creep? I'm gonna like go back on the map and farm, but I'm going to go on them. So that's like very counter synergistic, you know? Anti-synergistic. So I feel like there wasn't like a clear decision on what you wanted to do here, and I always tell people commit 100% to the wrong thing rather than doing half of the right thing. And I really do think you're more likely to make this mistake when you're afraid of making the wrong decision, because being afraid of making the wrong decision causes you not to commit to a decision. So that, you know, I can deeply relate to this. I think a lot of people can. And I'm right now trying to help you in a way that I believe identifies the source of your problem, but it's also a problem that takes a good amount of time to overcome with slow but sure, you know, reframing of how you see this situation. Okay. I don't mind this TP. Fight looks like it's already over, sadly. Hey, we get a kill, though. Okay. I would want you to go back through the portal here, unless you guys plan to push. So here I'm either planning to push or go through the portal. Looks like you're pushing, so that's fine. Okay, we're going to get the tower. Nice. Yeah, interestingly enough, against like Tinker Spearbreaker, you're just not really supposed to be pushing waves very often. And I think you're missing that. You have heroes like Lina, Tree, and TA, and Natures, to be honest, that can all push waves from really long range. And I want you to notice that in this game, the times that you actually pushed a tower is when you showed up to a fight that had already started, and then you killed somebody, chasing them, and then you took the tower because nobody was there. What's never happening against heroes like Tinker, also more unlikely against heroes like Spearbreaker combined with those, because like you have kill threat on you in the lane, while also having a hero that out pushes you superiorly. You're not gonna like ram your face into lanes. Like it's just not gonna work ever. Doesn't matter what hero you're playing. The only thing you can really do against these heroes is either push the wave from distance or kill the hero and then push. But so these type of wave pushes here, you can just let your treant do this. You don't need to be here. You can just be here, farming these and farming this. And then being ready, once again, to show up to any fight that happens here. So like having a TP delivered to you. Notice the success that's happening. And so what happens probably if you're really distracted by these self-doubts and all of that is it's really hard to tune into these type of things happening in the game. And so part of this is wanting to show you this is kind of what you're missing. Like this is what you're not thinking about. And it's not because you're incapable of thinking about it, but because your brain is clogged by all these other things. So a lot of the time there's a dual part of this where it's like, I do need to like unclog my brain, but it makes it easier if I know what to replace it with. So what I think is good to replace this with is what is the formula for a good fight in this game, and what is my role in pushing lanes. So patience not only comes with when do I enter team fights, but it also comes with not trying to do too much on the map. Like it's maybe not exactly patience, but generally impatience is from feeling like you have to do something, right? And so pushing lanes when it's not your job is the same thing in this regard. So I'm hoping that that serves as a nice like parallel / connection for you about what the root of this problem is. Like in this game, I would just be playing off map consistently. I'd go for the BKB. I would want Blink Dagger after that. So The key distinction is if you're playing on map this game, you probably need a Linken's. Like, because you're against Spiritbreaker, plus heroes like Tinker. And Tinker is a hero that's really awful to play on map against, just generally speaking. Best way to deal with lanes against Tinker is to kill them, like, instantly on heroes that don't show on the lane itself. Like, they're not in the middle of the wave getting lasered, right? So, just knowing how certain heroes impact your role in pushing lanes. So, I'd be building to be off map, which means, you know, BKB's fine, but then you need Blink Dagger immediately after. And I would be off map this whole time. Like, I wouldn't be running into their jungle aggressively like this, you know? You either make concerted moves where you're following up your team or smoking, or you play the map, the baseline, the way that the heroes in the game are telling you to play. So you going against the way that the heroes are trying to tell you to play, it's not because you don't know any better, it's because you're not thinking about this because of all the shit you're worried about, right? So I don't want it to feel like I'm, like, beating you up too much. And, like, that, you know, I know you said you were submitting, bit of a deer in the headlights kind of feeling. But these are hard concepts to master, even if you are thinking about them. And so, like, in this case, yeah, I was going to say I just want you to press ulti and kill the building. Yeah, that's fine. I think you were literally just too late to push your ulti. I think you should have pushed it, like, 2 seconds earlier. And maybe that's hesitation again, but I do like that you pressed it. That was good. Okay. Now we're kind of chilling. I feel like you've kind of picked up on your role in this game now. You're like, okay, I guess I shouldn't be showing. Oh, I should go up to fights late. This works better. Nice. Very good. Fantastic. Cool thing is you're 5,500 MMR, so you're obviously pretty good at this game, and you're going to be able to find the way. Even if sometimes you're stumbling on it inconsistently, because what happens is you know what to do, but you don't truly understand why it's the right thing to do, so you're not replicating it over and over again. That's like what we need to give you. You have the what, which is why you're 5K. So you're not lacking the information. You're not lacking the experience and knowledge. You're lacking the understanding that allows you to apply it consistently. So once I see Terrorblade show mid, I would feel comfortable to show, which is what you basically did. I liked your patience there. You could even argue that, like, you didn't have to clear that wave, but I don't mind you doing what you did. I think that's cool. Okay. This is good. Farming up our BKB. It's funny to see the camps got moved. You can actually tell how much the camps got moved by where they are now, like, on the map. That's funny. Yep. Look at this. One of your teammates gets gone on, and here you are. So you even have Blink Dagger queued up, which is fantastic. Yeah, you're owning. Look at that. It's funny, because these are things that you can observe and predict in the game. Like, if there's a combination of prediction, but also just observing what was happening to you in the early game. Like, this is the type of fight that was successful. So we actually just need to train you to observe better what you're already doing, because you had this in the early game. You, like, did the play where you followed up a fight. We need you to first, like, observe and like keep it consistent in the game. Here we are being aggressive on the map again. What is this? Why are we doing this? You know, think about it. Draw the parallels. It's funny because you're absolutely owning like 80% of the game, and then you just stop. You know, whether it's overthinking, like, that's honestly up to you, like, meaning, like, exactly why that's happening. We can have, like, a discussion about it if you come back and stuff like that. But it's something that would be great to ask yourself. Talk to somebody that you know. Say, like, hey, like, you know, BSJ, look at this. BSJ talked about it. I know that I'm struggling to remain in this mindset. and have them ask you some questions, because there's something going on that's like a mental blocker for you. But what I'm trying to show you is 80% of the game you're owning. Like, you know what to do. It's not a matter of capabilities or knowledge or skill or competence. It's purely about, it is lack of patience on the map, effectively, trying to do too much. You are being the point of contact on the map. And the times where you weren't point of contact, absolutely owned. When you were point of contact, you were fucking useless. So it looks like you're considering Nullifier, because obviously they have Spearbreaker plus Tinker plus Ringmaster. Very good Nullifier game. I think the Blink Dagger had to happen because of what we've been discussing. You need to be playing off map, connecting to fights, and you need to make yourself do that better, which is BKB, because if you just go in with Blink, you're going to fucking die. But then you buy the Blink so that you can get in there right away, and you're no longer letting your teammates die first anymore. Like, you're upgrading yourself because your reaction and counter initiation speed is much higher. So now you're being aggressive on the map again. I don't like this. Like, what I would have wanted is for you to have a Blink, you'd be farming this area, and then you'd be ready to go behind this guy. Everybody that shows on lanes is fair game for you to show up behind them. Like, that's how this map is getting played. And this will apply to a lot of offlane heroes, especially when you're against these like super obnoxious heroes like Spearbreaker and Tinker, who make it impossible for you to do your job if you show in lanes. So you turn into a counter initiator a lot of the time, or an initiator with smokes. Like, that's it. Like, initiator with smokes, counter initiator otherwise, right? So they have a lot of global presence, so being as prepared for it as possible, being ready to connect to it, thinking about your teammates as like they're the point of contact. Who do I want to capitalize on? You know, I probably would have replaced my wand with some dust because of the Spearbreaker. Notice how you're just running around the map now, not catching people really because you don't have Blink. So that's like, kind of speaks to the nature of just needing that Blink Dagger to do your job here. The Nullifier is a great purchase. I think it's absolutely the best purchase after Blink. So you're not like, it's not like a miscalculation on your end. But I actually don't think your Nullifier does its job without Blink. Because you can't, like, get in here anyways. Like, you're not in the fight. It takes you so long to get in there. But you got in, so that's good. Nice. Very good. I'm imagining if you didn't have the 2 deaths running into their jungle and you just had Blink Dagger plus Nullifier here, like, your approach to that fight was great. You would have done it even better because you had Blink Dagger. And you'd have more items, of course. All these things are fantastic. Like, if you think about the way you played this game, all but those 2 times, and like when you show mid and stuff, like even though you don't die when you showed mid that one time, it's like this is just a waste of your time, right? Why are we on front of the map? Now, that's being a little bit harsh, but I think you get the idea, right? I'm not sure why you bought a gem here. I think you're underestimating just like you clearly aren't value, like you feel it because you've had this item queued up for like 15 minutes, but maybe you're not being like, maybe you're living a bit in like denial or something. Like this denial, like this is the most important item for me to buy, but I need other things because something else is going wrong. Like you're losing your eye on the prize. I feel like you have your eye on the prize and then you don't. And whatever's causing you to lose your eye on the prize, whatever that doubt is coming from, that's your core issue. Because your prize, your eye is on the right prize. You know what the prize is, and you're choosing correctly when it comes to that. Every time you've been point of contact, it's been a miserable failure. Right here, you're the first one in. Every time that somebody else has gone in first or gotten gone on first, you're owning. It's been the same formula over and over again. It just comes down to point of contact. You know, I do plan to make some videos on point of contact because it's something that's been coming up a lot in my coaching sessions. Like, it's definitely not just you. Yeah, sit behind this guy, buy a blink. You'll have to sell your soul ring. Okay. Yep, you've got your blink dagger now. You're waiting for somebody to get gone on. This is great. Fantastic. I mean, it's just a hard game now because you're down with 5k to tinker and shit. Maybe you could have got him there. Yeah, this is good patience. You don't need to go. You can chill. Okay. Yeah, Nature's Prophet going a little deep there. They do need to fight into you guys a little bit, I think. Like, you can't just run into March, Terrorblade, like, Witch Doctor. Like, you have to let them fight into you guys a little bit. Don't be point of contact. Be careful. Good, good, good. Yeah, now they're getting Roche. I like this pathing. Okay. It's funny, because I had the exact same type of deaths that you had on Marcy this game on Slark yesterday. I was pretty fucking tired in my defense, but I feel like it is a loss of focus and discipline. And sometimes it's not a matter of, like, lacking discipline. It's a matter of, like, self-doubt, too. It can result from self-doubt as well. In my case, it was lack of focus and discipline. But I remember I was playing really well on Slark, and then I just had, like, 2 or 3 deaths where I walked into their jungle. And it's like, why the fuck did I do that? I don't need to do that. Like, I'm, like, trying to force aggression on the map for some reason. I feel like if we feel like we need to do more in the game, if we can rewire that to doing less, we would all benefit from it. Like, every time we feel like we need to do more, our response is to do less. To be more patient, to be more passive. Because I think that's kind of what's causing this over here when you're dying in their jungle. Same with me when I did it, and when I do it in general. It's not like I never do these things. Yeah, my main takeaway from this game, obviously we're not talking about Marcy too much because of the nature of the patch, as we talked about. But there was a clear formula of success. You identified it a lot of times, so you know it. But the lack of clear understanding, perhaps, or the doubt. It could just be the self-doubt. You may have the understanding that's being overshadowed by doubt. There's something that's getting in the way of you reliably applying that, where there's these moments of greatness in the mid lane. This was great to see. This fight over here, literally nothing happened in this fight. I argue that you could have maybe even gone on Tinker this one time. But the point is like you sitting behind TA, looking for an opportunity, being patient. I don't think you would have done that before these sessions. And I think that that's going to serve you on average. Like, that's going to be good for you. And that it's okay if you, like, briefly overcorrect where you're a bit too patient. That's a good problem. Like, for someone like yourself and for, honestly, for most Dota players. It's a good problem to be a bit too patient in these fights. Because most people err on the side of impatience. There are some people who are too hesitant, and that can go the other way. So I guess we want to be careful about you meshing patience with hesitation. So while you're being patient, knowing that you're waiting to identify the perfect scenario, and that in doing so, you're sometimes going to miss the perfect scenario. And so that's how you can review your replays, and that's how you can hone this over time. Overall, I definitely saw progress. I'm not just saying that to make you feel better. There's definitely progress in regards to patience. I think we now saw more of the impact of trying to force things, the patience equivalent, when it comes to playing the map. So hopefully that's your key takeaway from this replay. Thanks for signing up. It was a pleasure to coach you through this.